Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of the Real Israel Podcast with me, your host, Chaim Malespin. Join us as we dive into Israel's past, present, and future as we explore the rich history, current events, and visionary perspectives shaping this dynamic region.
And
quite the opposite.
The little bit I've read in the New Testament. Jesus, Yeshua, he says things that are straight out of the Talmud.
Right. Yeah.
He was a Talmud Chacham. He was a Jewish rabbinic scholar.
Yeah. But just back to if it was a
if I may.
Yeah.
We are Zocha, we have the huge merit to be living in an age that has never been before. I write about stories and people are like, oh, it's always been. No, it hasn't. Mm-mm. We are living through things that have never ever happened before.
Right.
Red heifer,
right.
Sanhedrin, all of the vessels for the temple are ready.
Right.
The Jews are in Israel.
Yeah.
The nations are connecting with Israel. These are things that could never have been believed.
That's right.
30 years ago.
It's true.
30 years ago.
Yeah, it's happening. The vines in Samaria.
You have a choice. Yeah. You can either say, I don't care. I don't care what I thought. I don't care what I believed. I don't care what I expected. I'm on board.
That's right.
Or you can say, oh, this Adam Eliyahu guy is lying, which is, I get. Oh, you can't trust the Jews. Oh, it's not like I expected. Oh, you can't believe the Talmud when it comes to Messiah.
Right. No, I get death threats. I'm sure you get all kinds of threats. And not only when I'm in Gaza, I'm talking at home where people are writing things. But just the reason why the Sanhedrin, why I brought that up is because they have to go by what's really done. What happened on that one isn't a picture. It's not a clear picture. It's not a true picture of how Israel follows the real protocols. You can't just say, well, let's just take any cow. I don't care if it's green.
Right, and they had thousands of years of actually doing it.
Right.
With a direct lineage to Moses.
Right.
When he did it.
Right.
So when they were talking about it in 70 CE, they were talking about it because they heard from a guy who heard from a guy who heard from Moses.
Right.
It's a very clear, what we call a Masara. It's more than a tradition. Masara means you gave it over like that.
There's some strange symbolisms that you find even with the serpent on the pole where there's a plague. And it's like if you look at that, people are healed. Why is that? Why is the red heifer? There's a lot of things I think that are mysteries. Like you said, we can't just pick and choose. They're mysteries. There's the this water, mesota, or it's this water that is, I think it's called that in the Mishnah.
It is.
I don't know what it's called.
It's called that in the Torah.
Is it called in the Torah, mesota? And that is where a woman who's considered maybe suspected of cheating on her husband or her engaged, then drinks that, and then she immediately has her womb. I mean, she's like killed pretty much by God. And so that whole thing is so many mysteries. Do you believe that everything, including the promise in the book of Maccabees, that the fire will come down again, like with Solomon, it'll come down again? The book of Maccabees says it's going to come back with the temple. Do you believe all that's really going to happen in the near future? And the Ark of the Covenant will be revealed?
I am positive it will. I'm positive it will. First of all, I want to say, you are hiding how much you know. You're trying to pass yourself off as a guy who hasn't learned at least half of this.
Some here and there.
You are a lot more knowledgeable than you're letting on. Look, dude. Someone said to me once, it's interesting. I think it was not Jordan Peterson, but one of these big thinkers. And they asked him, do you believe in God? He's like, I don't believe in God. When I was young, I believed in God. I know there's God.
Yeah.
I know there's God. Chaim, you held a baby.
Yeah.
This baby's now running around in your house.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Do you believe that he was made by God? No, you know he was made by God.
I know it. I know
you see God's fingerprints all over him.
As beautiful as the womb is, that isn't enough. It's life, the spark of life.
I was born in America. By all rights, I should have lived there my whole life. I am a Jew living in the land of Israel. My children were born speaking Hebrew. They're born in the land of Israel. My grandfather knew what it was like to grow up in a world without Israel. My father of blessed memory, he knew what it was like to grow up in a world without Jerusalem. I was born in 61. Jerusalem became a real thing in 67. I know what it's like to live in a world without the third temple and without Messiah. And God willing, my children will tell their children, oh, when I was a kid, there was no temple, and we didn't bring the korban, we didn't bring the Passover offering, and there was no Sanhedrin, and we didn't know what we were doing. And my grandkids will be like, oh, that must have been crazy. You're exaggerating.
Yeah.
No, we are growing up in a time where we are seeing all of the prophecies unfolding in hyperspace, not a little at a time, right in front of our eyes. 7 nations attacked Israel.
Yeah.
And
just now.
I remember some journalist or something said, and they'll run away.
Yeah.
That was the Bible, by the way. I'm
right.
misquoting
It says God will raise up. They'll come in like a flood, El Aqsa flood, and it says God will raise up a standard, a nes, a banner, a ensign, whatever. He'll raise up something, and then
they'll run away.
Run. They will flee before you.
Like leaves in the wind.
Yeah. And so I know that 3 times a year in Pesach, which is Passover, in Pentecost, which is Shavuot, and also in Tabernacles, Sukkot, you'll have to, all men in Israel will have to, and also the nations will have to come
Sukkot, there's a side to say that not only did the nations come, the reason is during the intermediary days, there were 70 bulls brought, which was for the 70 nations. So the nations came, and the Shemini Atzeret, the what we call Simchat Torah, the final day is just for Jews.
Right.
So that's like, we just had a bunch of guests, and now we want to be just the family.
Yeah.
But I've even heard rabbis say that the nations are required to come. Usually you say the nations are not required biblical commandments, but there's a side to say that they are required to come on Sukkot.
I think you're very unique in the way you understand things. You gave me a compliment. I'll give you a compliment too. You have a very big understanding concerning even the role for nations. Because most Orthodox Jews that I talk to, they'll say, "What does it mean that there will be once again a house of prayer for all nations, the temple?" And they say, "Well, it means that we, the Jews, get to go to a place to meet God."
Yeah, I think it's a synagogue, and it's not.
Well, what do you mean a house of prayer for all nations? Well, it means that we get to, on our own, without anyone else, go to.
Yeah, no.
I think what does it mean to be a light to the nations?
When I reread, where is it that King Solomon dedicated the temple?
That's right.
And it was like the third thing he said. Yeah. Like the third thing. You don't even have to read too many verses.
That's right.
It's like, and please accept the prayers of the strangers who come. He wasn't talking about some Jew I didn't know. Yes. He was talking about all the, my friend Jim Barfield from Oklahoma. Yes. Yeah, he was talking about all my Shelly niece. He was talking about all the nations coming in. And I'm there to say, welcome.
Yes.
I saved you a place.
Yeah, it's true. And I know that even as we having to be in this war, and it's continuing, even having my shepherd stick, and having to go serve in the army. And I don't like to have to do that. I think of my commander in my unit, Yahalom, which is the Combat Engineer Corps for Special Missions. So he tells me about his father, and he said his father was living in America, similar like I used to be as a young boy. And he said the time to fight the Nazis came. And he says, the dad says, I don't want to touch a gun. I have no desire to ever be in any army, but I'm going to go join the Marines, become a Marine. And he did. This Jewish guy, he was a scholarly, kind of geeky guy. And he just says, he became a Marine, went to fight Hitler. They ended up sending him to Japan. But anyway, the point is he stood up in his moment of history, no different for us. We're in our moment of history, and we're standing up, and these people got to recognize
Not only that,
this.
we are... Okay, we are fixing the world here in Israel.
Tikkun olam.
We are showing them, and I think the reason why they're angry at us, we're showing them how a war should be fought.
Right.
You got to fight to win, and you can't be an animal.
Yeah.
You have there are Torah laws about how to fight a war.
Right.
And they're angry because we're not starving them.
Right.
They're angry because we're not doing genocide.
Right.
So
projecting.
And one more point, if I may, focus on the temple.
Yeah.
I heard people say, oh, you build the temple, it'll cause a regional war. Okay, when Trump moved the embassy, it's going to be regional.
Right.
Like a month later, they signed the Abraham Accords.
Going to Rafah, southern Gaza, it'll be a bloodbath. Well, they all moved. They moved out.
And you caught how many terrorists?
And we got rid of Sinwar. And
Okay, everything they say is going to bring war. We're showing them that's the source of peace. The Temple Mount is the source of peace. The reason why the world is such a mess, and we had World War I and World War II, the reason why we had them and the Ukraine war, The only reason
Yeah.
is because there are only Palestinians allowed on the Temple Mount.
Yeah.
And when it should be a house of prayer for all nations.
Yeah. You know, I do this.
It's the source of peace.
Yeah. We have this thing called the altar of prayer. It's something that started, it was just me and my father-in-law. And so we just started, it was just him and I. And it grew to 5,000 people or more, and it's been going for 5 years. And it's just wonderful. And people from around the world are praying for these prophecies, praying through the prophecies in the Bible, prophecies about Israel. Okay, and so what's really, I find really, really interesting is that they don't realize that it's real, that it's all real. It's all real. And so it's all is real. But here's what happened to me yesterday is I'm there thinking, and a thought came to me. Because everyone's all reactionary. Prophecy is proactive, not react. Animals are reactive. People, humans with the Spirit of God, need to be prophetically active, proactive. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, wait a minute, why did 9/11 happen? Nobody out there wants to ask the questions why. Not what does Israel have to learn from what we go through. I'm just going a step for the nations. Why did 9/11 happen to America? I'm not talking about conspiracies. It's because of an indoctrination. You have the Osama bin Laden letter, and he says we're doing it because we think the West is evil and because they stand too much with Israel and we want to dominate them and we want to kill them. Death to America. That's why they flew those planes into the tower. Then you ask, wait a minute, why did the Holocaust happen? Not what do we have to learn, why did God let the Jewish people go through it, and what do we have to learn from that? I want to pause that for a second. Why did the nations do it? Oh, well, Jewish people were getting successful here and there in banks, and we fled from all kinds of places, so we started doing money lending, and they got jealous. I don't know. There was a book called Mein Kampf. Why did the pogroms happen? No one asks these questions ever. Well, there was a book called The Jewish Question, written by this German guy, and I think it was a German guy, and you just have people trashing businesses and starting to drag Jewish people out and kill them and ostracize them. And if you start to ask what led to, what indoctrination, whether it's Mein Kampf, in error, why did October 7th happen? Were we mean to the Gazans? Nope. We were giving them jobs and electricity and water, and it's not the most comfortable situation, but there's beautiful houses there, the Gold District, beautiful beachfront property. I would love to have. I never grew up in the houses as nice, some of those houses at least. Way nicer than any house I've ever grown up in, okay? And beautiful. But my point is, why did October 7th happen, the massacre of Jewish people? Not what do we have to learn. That's an important question to ask you as Jewish people. What can we learn from this about unity and things? No, why did they do it? They were reading Mein Kampf in Arabic. They were indoctrinated. And once we get this in the nations, they're going to realize it can happen in Iceland without meeting a Jew ever. It could happen in Canada without meeting a Jew ever. It could happen. The same thing could happen on the moon without meeting a Jew ever. Because
Ki mitzion tetzitor, from out of Zion will go teaching. And we're back in Zion.
That's
and
right.
they don't want us on the Temple Mount. They don't want us on Zion. Because you know what happens? The lessons go out from Zion, and all of a sudden people look at Mein Kampf and go, that's kind of stupid.
Yeah,
you know?
That's right. It's a clash of empires.
And they look at Israel and they're like, well, if that's what a Torah nation is like, and okay, so you got problems here and there, you got gay pride, parade stuff, you got stupidity, and you got stuff.
Yeah.
But the core is Torah.
That's right.
And not only the core, but they got the temple.
That's right.
And they have the house of prayer for all nations.
That's right.
And wow, I want some of that too.
Yeah. That's the piece. That's the tikkun olam. Last question, we've got to go, is just so you have giant, so 500,000 people or more follow you, like on YouTube.
I don't think so, but I wish. Okay.
You got your book, The Red Alert.
The Red Heifer.
Return of the Red Heifer. Podcasts like The Red Alert, like Reunion Roadmap, World Zionist Congress campaign to really advocate for the Temple Mount and for so many different things.
That's not me personally, but okay.
Okay, anti-BDS movement, and what people call it is prophetic journalism. It's journalism, but it has a touch of the prophetic.
Oh no, it's prophetic. I'm reporting on prophecy unfolding.
So what did you say? What would you say is the next step as we wrap up? Is it the actual sacrifice?
I'll tell you what we're right in the middle of.
Yeah.
Maybe the sacrifice. It doesn't necessarily have to be the red heifer. I think that there's a big awakening happening amongst the Israeli public. That more and more Jews, it's like exponentially going up to the Temple Mount. You know, before the war, the majority of Israelis were against Jews praying on the Temple Mount. The Jews are actually doing what's called lishtachavot, to lie down on the stones. They're blowing shofar, they're waving lulav and etrog. I saw a couple guys wearing tefillin on the Temple Mount.
Yeah.
Every one of these things opens up the door a little bit more. So I think when it comes time to actually doing the temple service, it'll kind of be like anticlimactic. It'll be like, it'll happen.
Yeah.
But there's something that Jews and Christians have in common. You call it sheep and goats.
Yeah.
We call it, it's the last Mishnah in Eduyot. It's one of these books that's all messed up.
Right.
And it says that Eliyahu, the prophet,
Yeah.
precedes the Messiah
Day of the Lord. Yeah.
to pull in those people who got pushed out and push out those people who push out those people who pushed their way in. And I see that as sheep and goats.
Like the mixed multitude who joined with.
There are Jews in America who I'm like,
Yeah.
you wish you didn't have a visa to come. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
And I'd rather sit here and talk with you
Yeah.
than sit there and talk with Jews from America.
They
Even
call it
Orthodox Jews.
self-hating or whatever. Self-hating
And
Jews.
they don't self-hate. They hate any Jew who isn't like them, who challenges them to be a Jew. So I think that's actually what we're going through right now in preparation for that. We're going through that clarification process. Like Moses said after the sin of the calf, Mila Hashem alai, whoever's for God, come to me. And it's not necessarily who you would think. I can think of Jews dressed in black with the big hats,
Right.
who I'm not so sure.
Right.
I can think of Jews who are, you know, who
Yeah.
are having, I don't know, whatever,
Yeah.
you know. And there are a lot of non-Jews who, I mean, where does their love for Israel come? There's
Right.
no historical precedent. It's
Right.
certainly, I mean, you have Christians saying it's against Christianity to support Israel. And you have Jews,
Yeah.
you have Christians who just can't help themselves.
Yeah.
And you ask them, why do you love Israel? No, I
Yeah.
don't know. And they love Israel.
I
And
think
I'm
one
like,
of the things that
come on in, come on in.
Come help, come stand, be part of history. I think
Come have a cup of coffee.
Yeah, just be a friend and don't fall into these deceptions. You know, a great Galilean rabbi, one of the Chazal, once said, "Do not be deceived. Do not be deceived." That's a strange thing to say about the days ahead, a prophecy about the future. Do not be deceived. Why? Because everyone's going to get deceived. That's the biggest. It's in Matthew 24. Do not be deceived. And I'm like, whoa, how did that? How was that even predicted?
So let me tell you about reporting the prophecy. The interesting thing about reporting prophecy is you know what's going to happen. The challenge is recognizing when it does.
Yeah.
Okay? We're back in Israel, and there are people who say, oh, that's not really Israel.
Yeah.
You have Tucker Carlson saying, oh, that's not really Israel. That's
Iran,
not really...
you're bombing the wrong country, Iran. Hitler, you killed the wrong people.
Right.
What?
So the challenge is not necessarily knowing what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen.
Right.
God is going to be king. He will be one. His name will be one.
Yeah.
The question is, are you going to recognize it when it happens?
Yeah.
And it is happening right in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
And there are people who are saying, no, can't have any of that.
Right. Would you say that to summarize, to wrap up, that the gold, we could go for hours on it, that the golden calf is like a clash of kingdoms, the opposite, because the ashes of the golden calf was flakes of gold, was like when it was destroyed, then they were made to drink that was like an opposite thing. They were trying to purify themselves through their own way, their own method, through their own, almost the way, I think of the West. Say, we don't need this red heifer.
I'll tell you, I don't know what the golden calf was or how it is today.
Okay.
But the Jews were forgiven for the golden calf. And after the golden calf, we were supposed to be in Israel a couple weeks later.
Right. It's supposed to be a red calf.
Okay, so maybe the red calf is the tikkun on that. But the sin of the spies, we have to look at more carefully. Those were when the leaders, the big guys, the elite,
Right.
the Torah scholars, said, no, we don't want to go into Israel. We want to stay in the desert, eat from the manna, and learn Bible, because that's a good thing to do, and serve God in the desert, instead of going in and farming and working and raising kids and getting our hands dirty.
Yes.
Because we won't be learning as much.
Yeah.
Okay?
We have that today.
And all of Israel was judged to death because of that. The whole generation had to die. So the real test was, and is, and always will be, do you love Israel? Okay, and if you reject Israel, then you've just judged your whole generation to death.
That's right.
And it's the politicians that'll do that.
There's Rabbi, is it Chaim Herzog? I believe there's Chaim Herzog. There's our current president, Isaac Herzog.
His grandfather.
His grandfather. I think he was the rabbi, and then there was a president also. There was a president, and there was the rabbi, Jacob Herzog. Anyway, point is, there's a prayer over the country of Israel, the nation of Israel. There's a prayer that was written. I want to bring that back. I really want to make that a very important thing for people around the world to pray from Herzog's prayer. But my point is, there's a lot of Orthodox, and it's a hot topic right now, as we really end now. But a hot topic is that, are you one of those Orthodox Jews who would say, because I met at one just the other day, Orthodox Jew, and I said, I serve in the army, I'm a citizen, I have to by law, and you want to make sure that you never will have to. And they said, yeah, I never want to serve ever in any capacity. It doesn't have to be even combat, just wear that uniform. I'll never wear that uniform, rather go to jail. And I said, King David served in the army, and he also
I'll take it one step further, okay? And I apologize if I'm teaching you Torah that you don't want to hear, but
do it.
I think you're a great study partner. The Rambam, Maimonides, when he talks about the wars, there are three kinds of wars. There's what they call Melchemet Mitzvah, a biblical commandment war, and a Melchemet Reshut, which is optional. And then there's also Melchemet Amalek, the fight against Amalek. Melchemet Amalek is you were commanded to even leave Israel at any time and at any place and fight Amalek. The Melchemet Reshut is voluntary, and you can choose to go out or not to go out, and the idea is to make money and get land. But the Melchemet Mitzvah, the one that's biblically commanded, there are no exceptions. And that is an existential battle in the land of Israel. And in the language of the Rambam, afilu kala michupata, even a bride from under her canopy must go out and pick up a sword and fight.
Wow.
And so these self-defined religious Jews who shirk, they're eating pig. They are eating pig.
Ooh.
They're breaking Jewish law in the most explicit way possible, and they're saying that pig is kosher. I'm doing a good thing by not going out to war. So
your own sons don the uniform.
They're not combat,
but they don the uniform.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, but they did not run away. They did not run away, and I'm actually very proud. My younger son is starting. My older son is just helping kids who had to flee their homes. He's helping them heal.
I've always said the ladies who fold the parachutes. How important is that? And I've watched them do it because I've been parachuting.
Because if they don't care, we're in trouble.
Yeah, they just say, who cares? That thing won't open.
And the fact that the IDF does that.
Yeah.
The IDF is not just, we're going to kill people. The IDF is like, we are for the nation. We will help the nation heal.
That's right.
And
be purified.
And plant trees. And that is beautiful. And I'm so proud of my son, and I love him dearly. And people who say that, it's a good thing not to do the army, they're looking at a pig and saying, that's kosher. And I have a big problem with that.
Well, I'm excited for the days ahead where the temple will stand. I'm excited to see a unity in the world where it's undeniable that God's hand's on Israel. There's kind of this argument where people are having, is it or isn't it not? But we know it is, but I can't wait till the proof. I think the Iranian missiles was a proof. Just swatted out of the sky.
Beepers!
Yeah, there's things that are just beyond explanation. But thank you for what you do and being a bridge. And it's an honor to have this. And I hope we have many more.
There's a big park across the street. One day you're going to bring your family out. My kids will be here. We'll play in the park.
We'll have a fun time. God bless you. And thank you so very much for all you do.
And I'm holding myself back from giving you a big hug, which I'll do before you leave.
All right. Thanks for joining. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share the truth.
Amen.
Thank you for watching this episode. If this episode touched you, your voice matters. There's hostages, there's tunnels, there's frontline voices that the media just won't bring to you. We are in the 8th front of this war. 7 fronts is Iran and its proxies. This is the 8th front, the media, the disinformation. Your gift, your donation helps us share the truth. Please donate on the link below.